All right, 1 second. Okay, Otman, do you want to start us off?
Sure. Okay. So this class, a lot of people weren't present for the last class, and on our syllabus, we were supposed to talk about conditionals today. So last class we introduced our students to or you guys to conditionals. So this class in general is just going to be reviewing what we learned last week, kind of refining our skills, um, and resuming on with conditionals by looking at two different types of operators, comparison operators and logical operators.
Okay,
So yeah, this is the agenda. So the three R's, you could say, we're going to revisit our last information. We're going to refine our skills in Python by learning more about, some of the shortcuts and like cool things that you can do in Python, and two very good two like different details. And then finally, we're going to resume on by learning more about conditional statements. Um, so yeah.
okay,
So yeah, so the first thing we're going to revisit is user input. So last week we introduced our class user input. And what it is it's a tool that allows the user to give their own thoughts within the code. And as you can see on screen, this is essentially the format of it. Um, so the thing with user input that we talked about, and I think the biggest thing is user input always returns a data type of a string. So whatever you input within the variable is going to return as a string. So uh, I can go ahead and show you.
okay. I think I'll take over for now, if that's cool.
Okay.
Um, so we're just gonna write a um some simple code that showcases the input function. So what it is we can set a variable. Let's call it, let's say password, right? And let's set it to be equal to input, enter the password, right? So what the input function does is that it puts in the string and asks the user for some input, and then what the user inputs is set into the variable. Um, I think so. What we can do here is we can also we also learned about conditionals last class, and if we want to loop in some conditionals, we could do is if password equals, oh, look, is equal to secret, we could print access granted, and we can use the else to print access denied. So this is using conditionals where if the variable is equivalent to the string secret, then it will print this line of code. Else, it will print access denied. It will output access denied. So if we run the code, it takes a little while to start running. If we enter the passcode and we say our password is like F, then it's gonna output access denied. However, if we enter the password secret, since password is equal to secret, um, it's gonna print access granted. Right now, what we're doing is like assuming that you guys already know a little bit about the if and else. I know last class we covered it, but not everyone was in last class.
I have a
I,
question.
yeah, yeah.
What website is this? Is it like a website that you're using?
We're on Google Colab.
Okay, thank
I'll
you.
put in chat.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Um, so basically like yeah, we did a lot last class, but I'm not sure if everyone's here last class, so I don't know if we should go like more in depth. Um, okay. I got a question about if PyCharm works. PyCharm does work. I think it's great, but the homework is used in Google Colab, so it might be better to use Google Colab, but honestly, it's all cool. Um, okay. Okay, wait, I just want to make sure, is everyone clear about the input function? Can I just see like is everyone clear about the input function? Because I know only a few people were here last class, so I just want to make sure. Okay, you want to go more in depth. Okay.
That's really all to cover for user input. I think one more thing to note, I already talked about it earlier, but it's that anything that you like anything that the user inputs within this function is always going to return a string. So Gavin, could you maybe like go ahead and use the type function? We already talked about this in the first class,
Yeah. Yeah.
and maybe just figure out what the type of password is after the user inputs something, and we can see what the data type is.
Okay.
Blake, you guys, I have a question again because you guys, I don't know if you did this over class, but last time, Blake, I don't understand why there is double apostrophes in like some spots and why there's two equal signs. Could you like explain that?
Okay. That's a good question. So when you're using the if keyword, if you want to set something to be equal to like a string, say like here, you have to use a double equal sign. Like normally, if you're setting up, let's say you're just setting up a variable, you just use one equal sign, right? But if you're using the if or elif keywords, you want to use a double equal sign. That's going to make it work. Does that make
Mm.
sense?
Yeah, but what's an elif?
Oh, elif is short for else if. Basically, I think it might be better to do an example. Like, let me think. Hmm. Okay, so like, let's put password to like ABC 123, and then if length password. This is the length function. It's basically just telling us how many characters are in the string. So in this case, it's 6 characters. So the length is equal to 6. So if it was smaller than 6, we could print too short. But then we have the else if password length password. Let's say if it's greater than 12, we can print too long. Then else let's say valid. Okay.
Uh,
So
what does like the elif mean?
yeah, I'm about to get into that. So basically, if we go down the program, we can see that 6 characters, right? So if it's 6 characters, oh wait, okay. If this code, if the if code doesn't run, the program is immediately gonna go to see if the password follows the directions of the else if code. So in this case, it's asking if the length of the password is greater than 12, in which it will print too long. So think of it as like another if sentence. If this happens, this thing under it will occur, right? It's still the same function, but
Then
if the if
technically,
function,
could I just leave it as if instead of putting an elif?
that's actually different though, because okay, like
Gavin, go ahead and
theoretically,
try it.
in some functions, yes, right? Okay, I would try, but I think it's better to show.
Okay,
Let's
yeah.
say if it's greater than 6, right? And let's say it's super long. Okay. If we have if we have an if and a if statement, it's just gonna say too short, right? If we have two if statements, it's gonna send both. Do you see how? It's because an if statement is a completely different statement, and an elif statement kind of goes like with the if statement. If the if statement occurs, the elif statement will not occur. So just to summarize, like if this was an elif, if the length of the password was greater than 6, currently the length of this is like, I don't know, like 20 or something. If it was greater than 6, then this will print, right? If this if statement does not occur, and if the length of the password is greater than 12, which it is, then it will output too long. Currently, this is greater than 12. However, because the if statement has already gone through and has printed too short, the elif statement will be negated. So that's why, like, sometimes using two ifs and an if and elif is like different. Does that make sense?
Okay, to some extent.
Okay. Okay, I just want to quickly go through just to strengthen our knowledge about conditionals and input. Um, we did this program last class, but I think it's good to go through it again. We set n as an integer as an input, and we say enter a number. By the way, this is like completely optional, right? Like your input can still function without having like a string, but it's just good because it gives the input user some like it like clarifies what you're asking for, right? If that makes sense. Um, so we're gonna make a simple even and odd program. So if n mod 2 is equal to 0, print even. So what what mod does is it is basically it basically asks for the remainder. So let's say we're asking for 101 mod 2. This is going to be equal to 1. Yeah, it wasn't homework. This is going to be equal to 1 because 1 is the remainder of 101 divided by 2. Um, if say we're asking for 100 mod 2, it's going to be equal to 0 because it's a whole number. 100 divided by 2 is a whole number. It's 50. So if n mod 2 is equal to 0, then we are going to print even because 100 divided by 2 is a whole number, meaning 0 remainder. We could do else, then we would print odd because if there is any remainder, then the mod will take the remainder. For example, like Gotham said, 3 mod 2 will be equal to 1 because 3 divided by 2 gives a remainder of 1. So I think we're just going to continue making programs, I guess. Um, let's see. Okay. I guess it's good to clarify that if you don't typecast an input, it will always be a string. So if, let's just undo this. If I didn't typecast the variable n into an integer, this will be a string. Like it says input a number, and the number, it'll look like an integer, but it's going to be a string in reality. So if I do like 5, yeah, so you obviously can't typecast, or you can't divide, you can't find the remainder of like a word divided by 2. Like what we learned from the first class, there are 4 data types that we learned: string, integer, float, and boolean. And strings, think of string as like text, right? You can't divide text into 5 pieces. Um, you can't find the remainder of text divided by 2. So that's why we need to typecast. We need to typecast this into an integer. Okay. Um, I don't know. You guys said you want to go more in depth, so I think we'll make one more program. Okay. You guys have like any questions about the input and conditionals? You don't understand anything? Okay, makes sense. Mod is just the percent sign, basically. It just asks for the remainder, see. I know Gotham sent something that was super intuitive, like up top. Um, okay. Some people don't really understand, so let's go like super in depth.
Um,
So
I
the
can.
code, okay.
I was just gonna
Uh,
say I can just work with him in chat if you want to move on. But if you have other stuff to do,
well,
but
okay.
if a lot of kids
I
aren't
mean,
understanding,
not
then
everyone's like, not everyone's responding in chat, and like last class there wasn't a lot of people, so I don't really want to like. I want to make sure everyone's like 100%. Like,
oh, okay, then go ahead.
okay, okay. Basically, the code goes by one, top to bottom, right? Um, basically the if it's raining, then take an umbrella. That's like what it is. If something happens, then the next thing will occur. Um, let's do like set variable age equal to 15, right? If age is greater or equal to 18, print you can vote. Else print you cannot vote. If age is greater or equal to 18, if this happens, then it will output you can vote. It will print this. But if age is not greater or equal to 18, the output will be you cannot vote. Okay. Um, so if it's yes, Python will run this first point. If no, it will directly just skip and print you cannot vote. Oh, and by the way, I didn't mention this, but everything under like, oh, I didn't add, but everything under like the if statement, it will be indented by, it'll be indented. Everything under this else statement, it will be indented, right? Um, and then, yeah, you can save the work if you want to. I think it's good to get some muscle memory to type out the code. Um, okay. I think we should just move on because we've kind of spent like the first 30 minutes of class just going through if, elif, and input, which we already went through last class. So, okay. All right. I think Otman has some stuff to talk about.
Yeah, so last class we also talked about typecasting. Gavin already showed you this, but what typecasting is you're just able to change the data type of something. This is especially useful with user input because if you want to create a calculator, for example, you can't effectively run operations such as addition or subtraction with strings as your numbers. So you need a typecast by using uh like the integer with the parentheses around the user input. So that converts your user input into an integer. You could do the same thing using the float, string, or boolean. Just note that some strings that you input, if you're like converting like anything into a boolean, just note that there will be some characters that will output false, while all others will output true. For example, 0 would output false, I believe. But yeah, that's typecasting. Last class, we also talked about modules. Uh, so a module, like it says on the slide, it's a file of pre-written code. It consists of a lot of functions that prevent you from writing code or logic from scratch. So, like I already said, it contains functions, values, tools. For values, for example, for the math module, it contains the value pi. So that's an example of a value that you can find in a module. And Python contains a huge array of countless modules. For example, on the screen you can see the random module. So that imports pseudo random numbers, or which basically just means random numbers, right? There are functions for that. There's also the math module, which we'll be going into the next slide. And there's also like, you know, an OS module that helps you read files and parse data. So yeah, that is a module. And in the next slide, we're going to be talking about the math module and going more in depth into it.
So yeah, last class, we went through the math module and random module. I think a bit of the homework was actually on the math module. So if you don't understand, it's totally fine because in the grand scheme, the math module isn't like that important. But basically, modules in Python, they're just like files containing code. You can
Place to find
reuse it.
modules. So what you do, like you see on the screen over here, it says import random. In that way, that's how you like import your modules. You don't have to find modules from anywhere. You just import them using the single line of code. For example, if you want to import the math module, then you do import math. So that's how you import your modules.
Yeah, uh, like right here, module is just a file of pre-written code. Python itself comes with like a huge collection of built-in modules. Like we used last class was the import, was the random module, the math module. Um, and modules are just pretty fun to play around with because they're just like built-in functions that you can use that are built by some other people. So, oh, basically like modules, it's not that important to know, but you should just know that modules in Python, they're just file containing code. On the screen right here, the random module is used where they are used in some functions. Okay, but modules aren't that important to know, so I don't think we should spend too much time on it. Oh, where did okay, well, some people just disappeared. I don't know what just happened. Okay,
It was a breakout room. I got them.
okay, that's probably fine. Uh, this is the math module. or no, it's not the math module. This is math in Python. These are just some basic operations. As you know, this is addition, subtraction. Uh, these, they don't require the math module at all. So I guess it's probably best to show some of these. Um, let's just do like age equals like 10, 12 or something. Sure. And then, oh, recording is, he's just a TA. He's just recording the meeting. So yeah, just try to ignore him. Okay. If we do age equals age plus 1 and print age, this is something that we can do without the math module. It's just adding 1 to age. 12 plus 1, everyone knows it's 13. And we can do all of these basic operations. We can do addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, for division, and modulo, which we showed earlier. Basically, just think of it as the remainder. These don't require the math module at all. I should probably present in full screen. So absolute value, as you can see, absolute value of -5 is equal to 5. You guys know what absolute value is, right? It's just like the positive number, how far away you are from 0 on the number line. You can use the power function, where if you have two numbers, you have a base and the exponent. So 5, 3 is 5 to the third power, which is 125. You have the round function with numbers and digits. Okay. I think it's time. Yeah, these are just all basic operations and functions that you can use in Python without the math module. Okay. Now, last class, we went through the math module. I don't know if, okay. I kind of want to do this, like show this to everyone, but they're kind of in a breakout room. So I think we'll save this for later, but
You can close all breakout rooms if you want.
no, it's fine. I don't want to interrupt them, but I think we'll save this for later and show everyone the math module later. Okay. So what we have to do is refine our F strings. Trying to relearn. Okay. So basically F strings are just, they make putting variables in print statements a lot easier. Let's look at this, these lines of code. We set a variable named name to John and set a variable age to set the integer 17. And then we print hello plus name plus quotation you are and quotation plus age plus quotation years old and quotation. But if we use F strings are so much easier. You have the two variables, John and 17, but
Prints it actually. Ethan, you have to go back to the other room.
Oh. So that is just quick string slicing. And then there's also step. So let's say I wanted every other letter in the string. Then out of PTO, right? We have P, and then we skip one. T, skip one. O, skip one. If you wanted to do steps of 3, we would get PH, right? P, and then 1, 2, 3, that's H. And then 1, 2, there's nothing else, so it's just PH. And then we also learned, see what's in the chat. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a good question. There are negative numbers with this. So Just like how we count up from 0 all the way to 5 in this case, we can also count backwards. So
Okay, so this works perfectly, right? But it's a bit annoying that we always have to add the addition symbols and the name with spaces and stuff. Like it's just super annoying. So what we can do to make it easier, we add an F at the beginning. And my name is name. And I am, let's see. So my name is Ottman and I am 15 years old. F strings just make it a lot easier to put variables inside of strings and try to print statements rather. Okay. So what we can also do with the F strings is we can do the math inside of the curly braces. So what we can do is we can print F, I am age plus 1. So I am 16. So we can do math inside the curly braces. That's just something cool that you can do. And you can also call we can also call functions and methods inside of the braces. Um, how do you stop recording? Okay. I'm gonna just continue if everyone's cool with that in chat. Oh, okay, whatever. So what we can do is we can call functions and methods inside of the curly braces. So what we can do is let's print F string. My name in caps is name.upper, which we all know what it's gonna do is it's just gonna call name Ottman, but it's just gonna uppercase the entire thing. So hopefully, if everything goes well, it's just gonna be Ottman all caps, which is what it is. Um, let's see. Okay, I think yeah, F strings are pretty intuitive. Just if you are using variables inside of print statements, you can always call back on them, remember them, and use them. But I think it's time to move on. Okay. Oh, did recording leave the meeting? Whatever. Okay. Okay. I know that I think Ottman is going to teach this. Let's see. I think I might collapse the breakout rooms. Um, But okay. Let's see. Okay. I think I'm gonna collapse the breakout rooms and get everyone back. Just making sure. Are you guys good on everything we taught so far? Which is inputs, conditionals, and math, I guess. The heck? Okay. Whatever. I'm not sure what's going on in the breakout rooms. I guess we're just gonna ignore it. but I guess we can show some stuff about the math module. Okay. Let me just pull this up. Oh, Gotham's back. Okay, whatever. So it's the math module. Um, Math is just a built-in module that is ready-made with math functions. So you don't have to write square roots, rounding, or trigonometry from scratch. The way to import the math module is just import math. There's some
Wait,
cool functions.
quick question. What are we doing now?
Oh, they're
We're
in the
just learning.
breakout room with me. Do you want to go quickly over, like, just get, like, what's the topic you guys are telling?
Um,
Gavin?
okay, I'm not sure why we have so many breakout rooms right now.
And
Um,
just keep on going. Right.
Bro. Okay, whatever. So the way to import the math module is just import math at the top. And what you do is to get this, let's say we want like the square root of something, we can just do print math dot square root 25. This is a square root function. And if everything works out, the output is 5. Something else we can, something else that's cool that we can do in the math
Wait,
module is
wait,
that,
is import math meaning like import like why are you putting import math? That's just my question.
okay, so like import math just imports the math module. Do you know what a module is to start?
No.
Okay, okay.
Well, a math
Let's,
module is like just pre-written information for the code, right?
yeah. We said this earlier. Module is just a file pre-written Python code. Like it's usually just functions and variables that you can pull it into your program instead of writing everything yourself, right? It's something that someone else made that we can use.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. So in the way to import, there's a module called the math module that contains like functions that we like use to do math. And the way to import it is just putting import math up top. Does that make sense now?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So what we can do inside of the math module is we can do dot square root. And if we have 25, everyone knows that the square root of 25 is 5. Output is going to be 5, right? That's something that we can do within the math module. Something else we can do in the math module is, okay, everyone from the breakout rooms is back. That's perfect. We can round up and round down. So what we can do is we can print, let's say math dot floor 4.7. This is just going to round down. So 4.7 is going to round down to 4. Like that. I should probably get rid of. There's just special functions that you can do inside of the math module that you can't do like using normal Python functions. Yeah, like Gotham said, normal Python would not have this unless you import this. The way to import it is just, it's super simple. It's just import math. You can also there's use trigonometry within this. You can print math.pi, which is 3.14159. We have print math.e, which is 2.7. And we also have Within my knowledge, we have, let's see, we also have,
Is there like a reason why it's not giving the complete version? I know like there isn't like
well,
a complete version of pi, but like, is there a reason why it's not giving as much as it can?
well, it's like, it's infinite, so
It's capped to a certain amount of decimals
yeah,
because it would take up a
yeah.
lot of space.
All right.
Okay. Uh, we also have factorial, which is, okay, so what this just does, it prints the factorial 5, which is just 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. You guys know what factorial is, right? It's just like, I mean, it's just printing, okay, I mean, factorial is 5 is 120. I think Ottman told me he has some stuff, so,
So for
Ottman, if you
people
wanna,
who weren't in the previous class, I know people who were in the previous class know about this, but there are two cool functions that can help you access all the different functions of the math module. One of them is called dir and in parentheses math. Gavin, could you type that out really quickly?
yeah,
So it looks similar to that. And if you print that out, you're gonna get a list of all of the possible functions that you can use within the math module. But all of these come with absolutely no context. So then you could also use the help and in parentheses math function. This will give you access to all of the functions and also really brief explanations on what they are. So if you're not remembering a certain function, then you can use the help. You can use that help function and refer back to it whenever you need to. I just wanted to add that.
What does a
yeah, so
dir mean?
I think it just means like description,
Directory.
or directory, yeah, yeah.
All right.
But basically, it just helps you on the built-in functions within the math module. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, okay. Okay, I went over F strings, but I don't know if you guys covered that in the breakout room. Um,
Yeah, you could cover it if you want a little bit.
okay, I think, okay, I guess I don't want it to make like repetitive for the people that already saw it. I guess we'll just quickly cover it right now. The F strings, basically, if you put variables inside of a print statement, it's going to be super messy, super annoying, right? As you can see, there's tons of pluses and tons of end quotes, tens of end quotations. So if we don't use the F string, it's going to look like this. It's going to be, you're going to set a variable to John, set a variable age to equal to 17, just for an example. And then you have to print hello plus name plus UR plus age plus years old. It's super messy, super annoying, and you have a lot of end quotes, and it's a lot easier just to use F strings. So what you can do is you set the variables, and then you print F, hello, curly braces, and then the variable, and then you can keep typing within the string, and then you have curly braces with another variable. So yeah. F strings honestly aren't that important. You can go like this way too. It's just kind of nice and kind of a lot easier to use if you're using variables when set within print statements. Okay. Okay, I know Ottman wanted to explain this, so Ottman, if you want.
Yeah, so there's this thing called a ternary operator for conditional statements. So obviously we talked about, comparisons operators. We haven't talked about logical operators yet, but the ternary operator allows you to write an if else statement in a single line. So I would like to note that this does not include any else if statements. It's only an if statement and an else statement just in one line. As you can see on the screen, this is the format in which it is like structured. So it will be, and it's like it almost reads like English as well. So it's like, true value meaning like print, print X if condition, print X if, something equals something. And I'll show you guys, right? This is just very hard to read. So I can show you guys an example of a ternary operator in if statements, if else statements. Okay. So, for example, let's say we have a certain score, right? So let's say score is equal to 45. What we can do is we can utilize the ternary operator. So let's do like a before after thing. So let's say we do like if score is greater than or equal to 50, then print you passed, then else print. We go and print this out. We say you failed, right? But this took up 4 distinct lines of code, right? We can make this much more streamlined and put it all into one line of code, right? So this is how it will pan out, right? So we're gonna print you passed, can't type, if score is greater than or equal to 50, else print you failed. This will output the same thing, right? So this is kind of how it's structured. So you get like your return statement, and then you have your if condition, and then you have your else statement, right? And you could probably see why this doesn't work for else if statements. It's just a single if else block that's all into one line. So this is one way, I guess this covers the second R of our class, refine. This helps you refine your code. It's a small change that makes work much more streamlined. It's much more organized as well. Um, for certain if else blocks, right? So just keep this in mind. This is what we would consider a ternary operator. So
Sorry, I was having some technical issues. Give him a second.
Okay, wait. Okay. Oh, okay. This might be a good time for you guys to try out some code actually right now because we just learned ternary operators. So I think let's just go until 4 o'clock. If we can send out some code to test out in chat, like some cool function and stuff, send some out in chat for them to test out. We can go until like maybe 4 o'clock-ish. Does that sound good? Um, yeah, I think this is actually a good time to try out some code. So yeah, so guys, we're gonna go until like 4 o'clock. Let's just test out some code and go through some ternary operators.
A quick question. So the password thing that we did, right?
Hmm.
Could we like, is there any code to like after entering the correct password to like unlock some new text?
Yeah. Here, I can show you. Or I'll just send it in chat. I can
Go ahead
send
and
it.
screen share that.
Oh, I'll screen share. Okay. I can screen share, but I want people to test out their own stuff. But let's say like let's say that if we have like passcode, passcode, and we set it to be equal to or I don't know, like what would passcode be like 1, 2, 3? And then if passcode equals like I don't know, like 1, 2, 3, you can print this statement, print correct, and then like else you can print incorrect. I don't was that what you're asking for or um
No, like as an after it says correct. Like
yeah.
say it was an AI, say, right? Hi, my name is ChatGPT, say, right? After you enter the correct passcode.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wait.
so you can just put another print line below the correct, and then
Oh,
so
okay.
like if you do passcode, like if the passcode is correct, you could say correct and then say, hello, now that you've guessed the correct password, here's the information you need, Gavin. Under print
Wait,
or
I'm not
under the if
sure.
statement.
Okay, I'm not sure. Okay.
Like that. Welcome to the yeah. You could
Yeah.
say that. And that could technically work. And then you could actually put another input statement within that if statement since you got it correct. So there's a lot of cool stuff you can do.
Okay.
Yeah, mess around with the input functions as well. Input
Oh,
functions, input functions, and all
I
that
didn't
as
do
well.
this, but you can use like your passcode as like an input. Like that'd probably be better. You have an input here. You do 1, 2, 3. It's correct. Um, Another cool thing. Actually, I don't know. Well, I guess it's good to do. If I want like my passcode to be like like Gavin, if like my passcode is that, but like since like if I enter my passcode and I do all caps Gavin, it's not gonna be like correct, right? And it's like super annoying because I don't want it to be like that. So what we can do here is we can call upon the dot lower method. And what this does is it says if the uppercase of this isn't equal to or if the lowercase of this rather, if the lowercase of this isn't equal to the lowercase, then what it is, um, if the lowercase of passcode isn't equal to Gavin all lowercase or is equal to Gavin all lowercase, then it will print correct and print welcome to the whatever. Um, Else, if this doesn't occur, it will print incorrect. So let's do Gavin, all caps, and it will still be correct because we call upon the dot lower method. Okay. So guys, just keep messing around with the code. Ottman's gonna put some functions and operators in the chat. Okay, guys, let me know if you guys want some more free time. I don't know if that was enough for you guys. Basically in during the free time, I made some code. I made some off what Gotham was saying, and I'm gonna try running the code in a second, but um after this, we're probably gonna work with comparison and logical operators. Okay, so is everyone, you guys think that was enough or okay, I'm gonna try running the code. Enter passcode. Oh, you guys, okay. We'll take maybe like 5, 10 more minutes if you guys all want some more, but I just want to show like this for now, I guess. So enter passcode. If my passcode is 123, it's gonna say welcome. Enter name. My name is Gotham. So it's gonna say hello, Gotham. Okay. I know like during this class, like you guys don't have a lot of time to just like mess around and just code, I guess. I understand that, and I do think that we should have more time to code. So I think maybe we can spend a little bit longer just giving you guys some free time and messing around. Because it's kind of hard to take in all the information that we were talking about without building the muscle memory and writing it down. So maybe we'll take some more time. Okay.
You can see all the cards now.
Okay. I think we're gonna go ahead and start again. I just want to show what I did. I made a simple program that just shows a movie theater ticket. It's pretty easy. It just combines everything that we've learned so far. As we can see, there's input functions. We have some conditionals here. If the age is more than 5, the base price will be 0. So if there's a little kid, the movie theater ticket will be completely free. And then we have some ternary here. Just conditionals in one line basically. Student discount is equal to 2 if student dot lower equals yes, else 0. We're using dot lower because if it's all uppercase yes, it's gonna be different from just a lowercase yes. Same thing with like weekend fee, final price. Um, I don't really want to. I think I might I don't want to go into it too deeply. And this is the final ticket receipt. Where I use a lot of F strings, which is this is like everything we've learned so far, which is F strings, inputs, conditionals, ternary. Um, yeah, and the ticket receipt just puts in everything, all of the inputs and all of the final prices and everything. So if you guys didn't make any didn't know what to do during the free time, I guess like what you could do, maybe you didn't have any ideas. What you could do is like maybe you could copy mine. Um, I'll send it in chat if you want because it's just good to get that muscle memory. I think I'll send it in chat if you guys just want to copy it. But yeah, um, Amin is going to talk about what we're doing next.
Yeah, so from up to this point with if statements and like conditionals in general, we've been dealing with comparison operators. And I'm gonna go ahead and screen share just so I can show you guys the slideshow. Oh, find. Oh, did I stop my screen share? Sorry about that. You guys can see it, right? I think we're good. So yeah, there are three main logical operators within Python. There's the AND operator, which basically just combines both of them. So like for example, if this and this, are true, then return something. We can also have the OR operator, which is it kind of has it's like two cases, right? With the AND operator, you're combining two things into one case. With OR, you have two separate cases, or two or more. And then finally, the NOT operator is just as you can see, if it's like not something, then you know it works well with booleans, right? Like if something, let's say has has a driver's license is true. If I do not has a driver's license, then it would return false. So I'll show you guys a quick little program that makes use of all three of these operators within the same code or program. Okay, so I think it's best if we name, let's do like some graduation requirement, right? So let's say GPA, the person's let's have a random person, right? Let's say their GPA is 4.0. Let's say they're a perfect student. Um, let's say uh has disciplinary record is false, meaning they don't have a discipline, or let's say they do have a disciplinary record. That's not how I write it. And then let's say if they were valedictorian for 1 year. Let's say that's true, right? Well, he has a record. That's not necessarily good. But let's go ahead and create this program. So we need some graduation requirements, right? So let's say if GPA is greater than or equal to 3.5, that's one condition. And let's combine it with something else. Let's say or yeah, let's just do if GPA is uh greater than or equal to 3.5. Or we can do another one, say, or they were a valedictorian and they didn't have a disciplinary record. Just for the record, not disciplinary record converts this Boolean from true to false. So as you can see, we combine all of it together. If you go ahead and put this out, let's just say you you graduated. Yeah, let's just say you graduated. Or you got the scholarship. That'd be better. Else, say you didn't get the scholarship. Put this out. It would be you got the scholarship, right? Because their GPA was greater than 3.5. If they had a disciplinary record, let's say this was 3.4, then obviously, oh, disciplinary record is not defined. Oh, sorry. But as you can see, you can use all the logical operators in that way. So, yeah, might have done something wrong with my code, but that's just an introduction. Gavin could probably take over. Probably made a mistake in my code, but
Um, okay. I think Gotham wants to ask something. Um, you can just say it out loud.
Wait, do you guys think like you'd be more comfortable sharing and learning? Like with the, you know how we had 15 minutes of playtime? Do you think you guys would have or would be more comfortable if we like had 2 to 3 separate breakout rooms where like a separate teacher's in there and you guys could ask questions for your code and like look at it separately?
Yeah, just type out your answer in chat if you guys,
Yeah. It-
because I think realistically, like making programs is like really good for you guys. Um, it's really good for like your muscle memory and really good just to learn the functions that we are explaining. Seeing a lot of yeses.
Yeah, I see 4 thumbs up. Yes, it's sure. So from next class, like obviously we won't have like sometimes like one teacher might not show up, but how many other teachers like if we'll probably have two usually. So next time we'll probably split it up. Like there's like 6 kids in each breakout room, and like it's just like mini groups where those kids can either like interact with each other to like create a big program, or they can each work on something separately, or just something where you guys just can play around and really work with code. Because that's what you guys probably need the most. And like just hearing like Otman or Gavin talk, like it's obviously great, but like I think playing with it yourself is always like the best way to learn how to code. And with like one of the tutors around, it like even like it makes it better, you know.
Yeah. Um, okay, we have 5 minutes left of class. Uh, we only did one logical operator demo. Um, okay. I think we need more. We could try to do more logical operator demos. Okay, I guess. I guess I'll just do it, but whatever. Okay. Okay. Let me share screen. We're just gonna do stuff, do some logical operators that just take us to the end of class. Okay. Okay, so let's try some logical operators. Okay. I guess a good program to do this in could be like, let's say you're trying to enter a club and you like aren't old enough. We could do age equals like, let's say 25, has ID equals true. If age is greater or equal to 18 and has ID, print can enter the club. So in Python, there are three logical operators. Um, these three include and or not. You see, if these both occur, then they can enter the club, right? We can have an else statement, print, can't enter the club, right? This is just like the basics of logical operators. Um, okay. So this is an example of the and logical operator. We can do an example of the or logical operator where it could be, let's say, for a day off for school, like is weekend equals false. But if it is like is break, say that's true. Then if is weekend or is holiday, print no school today. Else print school today. Okay. Oh, not holiday break. So you see for the or, if any of these two conditions is true, this will print. Um, if none of these are true, if they are both false, then we will go to the else and then it will print school today. So we can see since it is a break, it will print no school today. However, if they're both false, and we can assume that this is like a weekday on a random school night or a school day or whatever, it will say school today. So yeah, that brings us to the end of class. Um, that's low-key the basics. I think next class we might go over logical operators again because we didn't really go in depth with them. But yeah, that brings us to the end of class. So feel free to leave if you guys want to. Um, if you have any questions, feel
For
free
the
to speak.
homework, what do we do? Like, is there a class code?
class code. You need to join
Oh,
the Google
I'll
Classroom.
send the Google Classroom in chat right now.
Okay,
You
thank
send
you.
like the homework, right? Yeah. Send them
Yeah.
to our parents, I think.
It's just in the Google Classroom. If you guys,
Yeah. If you guys haven't joined the Google Classroom, go ahead and please join the Google Classroom. I sent it in the chat.
yeah. If you guys don't have any questions, feel
Thanks.
free to leave. Bye, guys. See ya. No, you can't.
It doesn't stop recording.
What？你就等一下下。Okay, bro.
Wait, Ethan, stop recording.
Okay, stop the recording.